Leonard Ellerbe of Mayweather Promotions G-checks Eddie Hearn. Stay tuned. Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Now, if you would like to become a channel member, it's $4.99 a month. There's extra perks and different things. Right next to the subscribe button, you'll see a button that says join. Click on that for more information. Now, let's talk about it. Leonard Ellerbe of Mayweather Promotions, he did an interview with FightHub. Link is in the description. This is what Leonard Ellerbe had to say. Quote, he was asked about Eddie Hearn's interest in signing Gervonta Tank Davis and, things like that. Leonard Ellerbe says straight up, quote, Eddie Hearn can't offer us shit. Eddie Hearn should just focus on his business, and I think he has other concerns to worry about. Not worry about what Gervonta Tank Davis is doing. It's no hard feelings, but guys just need to stay in their lane. And I want to talk about this for, the full detailed interview. Click the link in the description. But Leonard Ellerbe really has a point. Gervonta Tank Davis is signed with Mayweather Promotions. Eddie Hearn keeps talking about how he feels sorry for Gervonta Tank Davis, and Tank Davis is, a diamond in the rough, and he's crying out for help, and a guy like him should be fighting 4 times, these types of things. But reason I agree with Leonard Ellerbe is Tank Davis, part of his success, like, first of all, you can't give any promotional outfit all the credit, because obviously Tank Davis is just himself a good fighter, and he's able to do what he's able to do and fight, and he was an amateur before he was even signed to Mayweather Promotions. But Mayweather Promotions put the interest and the vehicle and the Mayweather name and different things behind Gervonta Tank Davis to definitely give him a start and start getting big paychecks to the point where people know who he is, right? So Eddie Hearn has so much to say, namely about PBC and Al Heyman, what they're doing, what they did wrong, but he's steadily trying to get PBC fighters to jump ship, to go over to DAZN, which is something uncharted and new. And for the most part, he's been unsuccessful at doing that with the bigger names with PBC. He did get like Jesse Vargas coming off a loss to Adrian Broner, a couple of guys, but he hasn't really the big name PBC guys that he's tried to nab, like Errol Spence Jr., Deontay Wilder, Mikey Garcia. And I know Mikey Garcia is a little bit of an exception. He's working with PBC, but he's still technically a free agent. But you guys get the point. Gervonta Tank Davis, the Charlo twins. He hasn't been able to lure the guys with the more clout, star power. Adrian Broner is another person who laughed at his offer, and he just hasn't been able to secure those types of names. It's that simple. And he's trying to bring him to DAZN. And Tank Davis, he's young, he's a fighter. So there were points this year where he was like, man, I want to fight. But obviously they have a game plan for Tank Davis, and that's what Leonard Ellerbe was saying. There might be internally things, like I think it was Ring TV that reported one of the reasons that Tank Davis was inactive and only had one fight this year is because his people, and I don't know if this is true, this is just what I've seen one of the reporters put for Ring. He says because Tank Davis gained a lot of weight, plus he had a legal case that he was dealing with, so they didn't I guess think it was in his best interest to bring him back straight away or whatever. They had to figure out some shit. I don't know if there's any truth to that, but that's what I heard. However, I heard they have a solid game plan for him in 2019. They're going to try to get him to fight 3 times. The first fight being an Abner Mares fight. So, Tank Davis being young, and sometimes when you're young, you make rash decisions and stuff. So he might, express how he feels at that given moment on Twitter. And it's like Eddie Hearn is trying to console him and get him to somehow jump ship. And the thing about it is Tank Davis, he's not a free agent to my knowledge. He's actually with Mayweather Promotions. So you would have to do like you've done with Usyk and Tevin Farmer, who has Lou DiBella, ENT, as a co-promoter. Usyk has Tom Loeffler, K2, whatever. You get what I'm saying? And this is one of my questions for DAZN is how successful will the app be when everything is an expense, to get Anthony Joshua and not have him on pay-per-view, I guess, in America, or put him on Showtime, to have Canelo and take him off pay-per-view. We already know how much Canelo's getting for 10 fights, $365 million, and then a bunch of co-promotional, like Maurice Hooker is with Rock Nation, right? Clarissa Shields, I think, is with Salida Promotions, and she was working with DAZN for a fight. I don't know if that was a one fight, a once and done, because I think she's going to be on a Showtime card. No, she's going to be on a K2 card, HBO card. So, I don't think she's signed long-term to DAZN, but there are a lot of people, Daniel Roman, right? So in all those situations where you have 2 promoters per se, you have to split the pie with somebody, because Daniel Roman is with Thompson Boxing, so it's not like just DAZN gets to eat off that. Same thing with Gerald Big Baby Miller. I believe he's co-promoted. He was on DAZN's last card, but he's also co-promoted, I think, with Salida Promotions as well. You get what I'm saying? So how, without having a name of your own, like, a name-known fighter who's just totally, like, enthralled with you, and there might be a couple, like, I think Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade, either his old promoters, former promoters released him, or he got bought out. I don't think anyone's ever really cleared that up. But either way, my point being is, like Golden Boy, for example, they don't have a deep stable, but they have rights to Canelo. Canelo is a Golden Boy fighter, and his fights are being showcased on DAZN, and he's getting X amount of money for those fights on DAZN. But, with this Eddie Hearn, Matchroom USA, a lot of the fighters have ties to other promoters, and DAZN has the dates available for them, and they're paying for it. And, and then the other promoter is almost eating and might not have to do as much work, so it's a good situation for the fighter and then the smaller promoter, because they get their fighter active, and then DAZN, Eddie Hearn, and Matchroom USA puts together this Gerald Big Baby Miller card. But a lot of these fighters, even Brandon Rios, I think he's still advised by Al Heyman, so it's like a lot of these guys have 2 advisors, or an advisor and a promoter, just different people, hands in the cookie jar. And trying to get Gervonta Tank Davis, same thing. He's with Mayweather Promotions, so you would have to go through them to acquire him. And I think that's why Leonard Ellerbe, he's also snapped on him on social media, like, I don't know what you're trying to do, but my lawyer will be in touch with you. He is a signed fighter. He's with Mayweather Promotions. You can't do that. That's like DAZN reaching out to Terrence Crawford, who's a top ranked fighter, and saying, hey, come with us. It doesn't work like that. We've seen recently David Benavidez, I think, was trying to go to Top Rank, and then Yvonne Michelle, or whoever his old Samson, or whoever his promoter was, they were like, no, not so fast. You're still under contract with us. So, I don't really know, but I guess we'll find out over time what DAZN does. As far as Gervonta Tank Davis, I think he has a bright future. Leonard Ellerbe was saying in this particular interview that Tank Davis will be a part, like a big star, and the biggest star in boxing. and it's definitely possible. You know, he has the style of fight, he has the backing and the machine. But as far as Eddie Hearn seems super concerned with what other people are doing. You know, he's like PBC predominantly, like just, oh yeah, Al Heyman. And he says, like, Eddie Hearn did an interview and he was talking about how Al Heyman took fights off free TV and now they're back where they started on Showtime. But little did he know, they just did a deal with Fox. You know, at the time he did the interview, I don't know if he knew about the Fox deal, you know. So they have a plan. You may not know about the plan until they unveil it, but it sounds like they have a plan. And I know there's a lot of Eddie Hearn apologists that are like, yeah, Gervonta Tank Davis, he's inactive, and he should have just went with Eddie Hearn. And Eddie Hearn is saying the same thing. But you guys have to understand, name a fighter from America that Eddie Hearn has turned into some kind of global household name or global star. Like who? You know what I'm saying? So it's not like the American market is totally different to the UK. Yes, Matchroom has, okay, look at it like this. Matchroom's biggest star to this date is a star that was already with Matchroom, you know, irregardless and prior to DAZN even forming and joining forces with Eddie Hearn. Do you guys understand that? Anthony Joshua was already with Matchroom before DAZN, you know, before Matchroom got involved with DAZN. So once again, Eddie Hearn has yet to produce a fighter with his new outfit, you know, Matchroom USA or Matchroom Italy, some kind of big star, or take somebody who is already known, then sign them and make them a household name, like Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade. What's his next fight? You know, he was supposed to fight Billy Joe Saunders through no fault of his own. That didn't happen, but either way, it didn't happen, you know, and he fought Walter Katendakwa. That wasn't like a type of fight that immediately makes you a star. And I think he got injured, so maybe that's where he's been. But, you know, I just think Al Heyman has a game plan. Like, Errol Spence is fighting Mikey Garcia on pay-per-view on Fox after the Super Bowl, you know, the month after the Super Bowl. Mikey Garcia was just on Thursday Night Football, you know, got comp tickets, got him and his brother, you know, at the fight. I mean, at the Dallas Cowboys game, which they won. You know, a week before that on the Thanksgiving game, Errol Spence was there, and they're talking about the fight and promoting the fight. You know, Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade, he's not, you know, he was on wrestling or something, but I didn't see DAZN do anything with that. You know, so it's just like, who has Eddie Hearn made into this like household name that he is almost swearing by? Like he's making it like, oh yeah, if Tank would have come over to us, we would have just instantly made him a star and kept him active. But who would you have him fighting? Just like Gerald Big Baby Miller, that's an American heavyweight, right? And his last fight was against an unknown guy from Romania that part-time works for the Romanian SWAT team equivalent, you know, some kind of tactical team, and he got knocked out like we all expected. So it's just like, me personally, I don't see it. I don't get where this is coming from, where this faith, because of Anthony Joshua, you know, it just, I don't get it. You know, I don't know that Eddie Hearn would be able to take Tank and then, you know, do something massively different with him. And again, if you're not in the know in the operation, you don't even know why. Maybe they have Al Heyman seems pretty calculated. So maybe they have some kind of special plan for Gervonta Tank Davis, you know, and sometimes you have to wait. You know, we don't even know what card Tank Davis and Abner Mares is going to be on. And, you know, what if it's something huge? What if it's like the main event or co-feature to a huge card we don't know about or something? You know, it's like, can Eddie Hearn top that? You know, that remains to be seen, at least from an American market standpoint, because we have not seen Eddie Hearn put on bigger showcases and bigger events than Al Heyman. You know, Al Heyman has his hands in Mayweather Pacquiao, Mayweather McGregor. We have not seen Eddie Hearns do a U.S. show that was anywhere near any of those shows, or Mayweather Canelo, or, you know, Broner Maidana even. You know, so I know Eddie Hearns is trying to, you know, seduce talent and lure them to join DAZN. It's part of the game, and he's hustling, but he just acts like he has like this secret sauce or something that he'll turn Gervonta Tank Davis. And realistically, if you really want to be truthful about it, he's trying to take food that other people have already seasoned and then pick up from there. You know what I'm saying? Like even Daniel Jacobs, his biggest fights to date, from my knowledge, is Triple G, the Gennady Golovkin fight, Peter Quillen. Both of those fights were completely done without Eddie Hearns. Yes, Jacobs is a champion. Again, he fought Sergey Derevyanchenko for a vacant belt, you know, but that was just because he was the next person in line for the belt. So it don't matter who his promoter was. Him and Derevyanchenko were the highest rated people. You get what I'm saying? So realistically, you know, he hasn't even turned Daniel Jacobs into a household star. He hasn't even topped Daniel Jacobs when he was just with Al Heyman, you know, the events that Daniel Jacobs has done. That's factually speaking. Unless you could tell me a Daniel Jacobs fight since joining with Eddie Hearn and doing that HBO multi-fight deal that had a bigger crowd than Gennady Golovkin and Jacobs. I was at that fight. There was like 19,000 plus, you know, and the Peter Quillen didn't have as much as the Golovkin fight, but it still had a good turnout, and it was still a big fight and a big event. You know, since Jacobs has fought tough guys, but not names that fill up Madison Square or the Barclays or whatever. You get what I'm saying? You know, fighting Matt Zaleski and Luis Cuba Arias and Sergey Derevyanchenko. Those are all good, challenging fights, and, you know, but it's just not name-known guys where he unfortunately will get the respect from casuals that he should for fighting those tough outs, you know, and it's certainly not doing the numbers. Like, it's not doing 15,000 plus. You know, Jacobs has not done in the Barclays when he's main evented numbers that Deontay Wilder has done. Wilder versus Stavern, Wilder versus Luis Ortiz, Wilder versus Spilka. Jacobs, you know, since being with Eddie Hearns, has not done those types of numbers. So I understand Eddie Hearns wants people to believe that if they sign with him, you know, come to death row type aspect, that all of a sudden everything's going to be gravy, but it's not necessarily, because who would he have Gervonta Tank Davis fighting? You know, is the Tevin Farmer fight the first fight that would be made? Oh yeah, and that's what Leonard Ellerbe did talk about, the Tevin Farmer fight. He said it's a good fight, but it's gonna happen. Like, basically, we're the A side. It's gonna happen when we dictate that it should happen. We got our own plans, and, you know, we'll pull the trigger on that when we're ready. You know, it's a fight that we want. Tank Davis, I talk to him frequently. He's down for the fight. He wants to fight. But other than that, Eddie Hearns ain't gonna dictate what we do. You know, he's not gonna be the man in charge. And that's just A side talking. You know, Gervonta Tank Davis is the A side over Tevin Farmer. You know, you can just look at the resumes. Tevin Farmer's a phenomenal fight. You know, Leonard Ellerbe said that even in this interview that he has a great story and people should respect the story. It's good to see a guy come from the bottom and, you know, reinvent himself and stuff like that. But no doubt about it, Gervonta Tank Davis would be the A side. Not saying this is a fight prediction or anything, but as far as business, he would be the A side for sure. You know, and that's basically what Leonard Ellerbe said. So I agree with Leonard Ellerbe until Eddie Hearns starts showing, you know, an American fighter and taking him from scratch, basically, and turning him into this Floyd Mayweather type star, or where Errol Spence or Mikey Garcia is at with popularity, or Broner. We haven't seen it yet from an American guy. He does good with the UK events. He's done good with Dillian White, you know, making him more relevant, and Anthony Joshua, but that's a completely different market. Let's see you know, Jay-Z famously said in one of his songs, I heard motherfuckers saying they made Hove. Made Hove say, okay, so make another Hove. That's where it's at. Eddie Hearn got to make another Hove. He got to do it again, but this time in America. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.